Good morning. This is Dave Michels from Talking Points. Today we're going to do a live interview with Jay Patel of Cisco, previously of IMIMobile. And, Cisco's all of a sudden talking a lot more about what they call WebEx Extend. So it prompted me to get some questions. And so Jay agreed to do a live stream. So let's get Jay in here now. And hello, Jay. Welcome to Talking Points Live. We met about a year ago. I think it was at Cisco Live.
Yep.
It sounds like the story is kind of evolving, because I remember when Cisco first announced the acquisition of IMIMobile that first off, I should introduce you are the founder of IMIMobile. Is that correct?
Founder and CEO, yes.
One of the co-founders. Yeah. And so with the acquisition, you're now some VP at Cisco, still based in London.
Yeah, still based in London, yeah. And a GM.
All right, well, thanks for staying up for us. So when the announcement was first made that Cisco was acquiring IMIMobile, it was really about channels. It was talking about adding new channels to the Cisco contact center. But the story is kind of changed, and now they're talking a lot more about what they call Cisco Extend. And so before we get to that, let me just ask you, when you were at IMIMobile, can you describe pre-acquisition what the company was doing?
Okay, so you heard us talk a lot about WebEx Connect as part of Cisco, and at IMIMobile, what we were doing was essentially we had cloud CPaaS platform, we had great market share in the UK market and in the North American market. Essentially working with, I would say, the bluest of blue chip organizations like the big banks, the big retailers, the big utilities, and providing them with a centralized comms platform for their customer communication and engagement. So the likes of Barclays, HSBC, NatWest in the UK, and Walmart, Walgreens, a bunch of others in the US. And obviously a lot of large organizations have very large IT estates. And when they look to consolidate their communication, we believe we've got one of the best platforms in the market for them to consolidate around, all their digital channels and all their digital comms.
Because Cisco already had a lot of these digital channels, so it was kind of confusing to me why they went out and bought more digital channels, because some of them were redundant. Is that accurate?
No, Cisco with partners was able to offer some email and some live chat and some SMS into some of their solutions. But essentially, what we've really provided them with is an ability to natively integrate not just those channels, but all the other channels as well, and provide a roadmap for future customer touch points. So I think, when we think of channels, it's a very kind of telecom way of looking at the market. We all started with voice and maybe SMS, but when you look at what's going to happen in the next few years, I just think it's the number of touch points that a customer has that will need to communicate back to a back-end system is going to increase. And we provide a platform for them to do that. So whether it's Apple Business Chat, Google Business Messages, WhatsApp, in-app messaging, I suspect in time there'll be lots of devices that also you'll be able to push a button and talk to a back-end system. So we provide the platform in which you can integrate your customer touch points with your back-end systems through any channel of choice.
Okay, so it's been 2 years. I know that you guys have been working hard together, and again, Javed and the Cisco team is making a lot more noise around IMIMobile. So where has IMIMobile popped in to the WebEx portfolio?
So we're part of the collaboration group, and as you know, the collaboration group's got 3 distinct pillars. One is around improving collaboration, the unified comms space, reimagining the workspaces, so the devices, and then the other area is improving customer experience, and that's where we sit alongside contact center. And alongside contact center, we basically have integrated the solutions, and it comes down to the fact that we believe that when you're managing customer experience for a large brand, you're looking at managing customer experience across the customer life cycle, not just for customer service. So in the acquisition journey, in the servicing journey, in the retention journey, and you're looking to manage customer experience across all the different channels. So, with contact center and, so WebEx Contact Center it's called, and WebEx Connect, which is the CPaaS platform, together we believe we can manage all human interactions and digital interactions essentially from the same vendor.
Okay.
And that's really where we pop up.
I'm glad you said WebEx Connect. I know I said WebEx Extend earlier, and I've made that mistake before, and I don't know where that came from. It's stuck in my head, and I can't get it out.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you, WebEx Connect, is that different than IMIMobile?
Not really. Where IMIMobile was the company name for the company that was bought. And within that, we had a set of products. Our flagship product was called IMI Connect, and we have rebranded that to WebEx Connect. So the flagship CPaaS product that drives billions of interactions monthly was called IMI Connect. It's now called WebEx Connect. We've revamped it so that the look and feel is under the WebEx design principles. So it looks like any other WebEx product. It has similar logins and everything else. So it kind of works as a WebEx product, but it is essentially the core IMI Connect product that we've developed over many years.
So what I'm trying to get to, and I think you're kind of avoiding my direct question here. So let me ask you this more clearly. WebEx Connect is available part of the WebEx Contact Center offering.
And standalone. Standalone.
And standalone.
Yeah.
But is there more than WebEx Connect? Is there more of IMIMobile services available besides WebEx Connect?
Sure.
And is it available to more than the contact center?
For sure. So IMIMobile had not just IMI Connect, but also had 2 or 3 other applications. So when you look at a framework for CPaaS, you often get a framework that includes, you might call the core messaging platforms, and that's WebEx Connect. And then you have things like campaign management. You have other tools on top of the platform that help with particular workloads. So we have a product called WebEx Campaign that helps with workloads for marketeers. We have another application called WebEx Notify that helps with operational notifications. So on top of the core platform, we've built some workloads and which essentially help particular specific business users with communication to customers.
Okay, so so the Cisco MO is that they acquire companies that they feel are proven that they can scale. That's my observation, that they tend to find companies that this technology works. Let's throw our entire sales force behind it and see what happens. And so is that what you've experienced in the 2 years you've been there? Have you seen a rapid acceleration of what you were?
It obviously is. It obviously takes time because essentially, Cisco is a very large organization. It has very mature processes for taking things to market. So there are, you have to get the look and feel of the products right. You've got to get the pricing onto what's called the GPL, which is the global price list, right, which allows essentially partners and customers to order automatically. You have to get the security right, because as you know, so every product has to go through lots of security controls. So we would have spent roughly, I would say, the first 12 months getting a lot of that right. And then the last 12 months, we've essentially been on the GPL, enabling partners and selling into, selling with the Cisco sales force. And we have signed over 100 logos in the last year, well above our previous averages. So, and we've got a lot of growth coming because essentially these logos will go live with use cases, and then hopefully we'll provide the leg up to growth over the next few years. So the business has grown significantly inside Cisco, but that's largely the existing business doing more business. In the last year, we've managed to add a significant number of fairly large blue chip logos, and we see that as something which will accelerate growth going forwards.
Fantastic. Are those logos associated with WebEx Contact Center? Is your
no, actually, I should separate the 100 or so is standalone, we've got another few hundred that have essentially taken a license with contact center as well. So we've got two go-to-market motions. One is essentially helping the contact center with digital channels and use cases around call deflection. So essentially, I'm having something that means that the call doesn't land and automating a call when it does come into the contact center. And then we have lots of other use cases which don't involve customer service, may involve notifications, may involve parcel delivery changes. And that essentially is standalone use cases for which we've signed 100 logos.
Okay. So when you sell standalone,
Yep.
it's essentially a CPaaS play.
Correct.
And Cisco's using that term CPaaS a lot.
Yeah.
So with regards to CCaaS, can you help me understand the difference between CPaaS and customer engagement platform, CEP? Where does IMIMobile fit?
Well, I think CPaaS and CEPs. I mean, I would say that there's a big overlap, and one of the challenges with customer engagement platforms is that often the use of that term has been very marketing driven, and the marketing clouds and certain and very much email first on platforms. And we do email, but we probably do a lot more messages that are on SMS and digital channels. And what we often do is a lot of event driven messages. So a business system is triggering that message rather than marketeers. So, if I look at the portfolio we have, we've got CPaaS and we've got an application called Campaign for marketeers. The two of them together actually probably do have most of the functionality that a customer engagement platform has. Okay. But I would say that our CPaaS platform, it is high volume, event driven comms. So, for example, I would say that when you leave your prescription at Walgreens or Walmart, and we then message you 24 hours, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that's not really customer engagement as such. That's actually a platform designed to improve the service to you. And that's the CPaaS platform. Now, at the same time, when you have a iPhone renewal and the carrier is sending you a whole campaign so you can renew for your iPhone, the customer engagement platforms typically fall into that bucket. And we have customers who would execute those campaigns through our campaign product. So we do offer both. We target different users. One's very IT driven, one's essentially marketing driven with different applications. But we essentially have a portfolio of, you could call it, we have a portfolio of customer engagement solutions, right? They include CPaaS, includes applications for marketing as well.
Okay. Well, if we're going to talk about CPaaS, we have to talk about something before your time. Yes. There was a previous acquisition back in 2015 that Cisco WebEx made with a company called Tropo. Yep. The way you described earlier about getting everything under the price list and all that stuff, I don't think that ever happened. But how is your acquisition of IMIMobile and the Tropo acquisition in 2015? How are those different?
Well, I think the difference is, and again, I mean, I obviously wasn't around then, so I can only base it on hearsay. But basically, Tropo was more of a technology acquisition. There was a desire to basically use some of Tropo's technologies for managing APIs, surfacing APIs, and essentially, I think if you look at developer.webex.com, some of the technology has essentially been put into the WebEx platform to expose WebEx APIs to WebEx users. So that was very much a technology play, and it's kind of something which was incorporated within the existing WebEx platform. We're probably more of a business, right? So we're probably a much more substantial business with bigger customers and focused on supplying a platform solution to end customers. And so the reasons for the acquisitions, I think, were very different. One was very much to fix, as I said, There was a desire many years ago to open up the WebEx platform to developers, and that's where the Tropo acquisition came in and has actually been used for that purpose. We were acquired largely to help essentially create a standalone CPaaS business and to provide digital channels natively into the contact center. And we, both of us, sell to large, big organizations that have got lots of consumers. And we've got an established business that essentially does that today.
Wow, okay. All right, so I want to wrap this up. Just a few more thoughts here. Whoops, we already asked that one.
Yep.
When you meet with a prospect about WebEx Connect,
yep.
What statements do you hear that makes you consider them a perfect fit? What are the problems that they're trying to solve that you realize like this is a good one?
Well, firstly, I think my ideal scenario is where a very large business is thinking about the spaghetti they have in their systems, the silos of data, the silos of channels, the sheer complexity of how they do things today, and their desire to simplify. So what you often find, and you would have seen this over the last 20 or 30 years, email comes out, people get email vendors. A slightly better email solution comes along, you've now got two. SMS comes out, you get SMS. And by over the last 20 years of digital channels, big organizations sometimes have 20, 30 vendors, right? And they're all doing some form of customer communication. Actually, now that the consent is needed everywhere, someone's got the headache of where am I getting consent from on all these things? And then the bigger issue now is also things like AI. How am I going to deploy AI across all these different silos of data, silos of channels? And when somebody wants to simplify all of that and consolidate channels, consolidate, the places where they go to do the volume of communications, that's when I think WebEx Connect's a great platform, because we can do all the different channels. We can do these things at scale. It's cloud-based, so you can start putting workloads on it as you go along, as you terminate others. So you basically reduce the risk of changeover quickly. And our promise to our clients is, look, you focus on your business. We will focus on making sure you can communicate to your customers on any channel, two-way, whatever channel comes along, and we'll give you the best experience of communicating on those channels, because we'll keep our capabilities up to date natively for the capabilities of each channel. So we know that WhatsApp can do a lot more, Apple can do a lot more. You've seen RCS come along with verified text. So we are focused on making sure our customers are future-proof on managing their touch points. We also then, on top of that, know that a lot of customers have got legacy systems that they don't want to replace. They don't want to rip and replace, but they need integration tools to actually, so they can essentially take events from those systems and communicate with customers. And again, for us, in some ways, weirdly, the more complex an organization, the more we think we've got a platform approach that actually works for the really large, complex organizations, maybe multiple divisions as well. Because again, one of the other key things is, and people will say, well, look, Jay, why are you guys not doing the, some of the more developer, easy, put it all on the web and people can buy it. We can obviously do that, but you need a certain service model to do that. Our service model is working with large corporates and complex organizations. So for example, when you have an organization that may have 20, 30, 10 people in an organization, 10 VPs that want to communicate, actually your system has got to handle the fact that when the organization gets your bill, they want to know who used what, so they can assign costs to different departments. And again, I think we have built our platforms ground up to be enterprise ready, right? So whether it's everything from security to finance to accounting to it being usable by personas other than just IT, so we're looking for enterprise CPaaS opportunities that are complex and where they want to consolidate channels. And I think, like I said, that's our sweet spot. And that's also where, if you look at our client list, it reflects on that focus.
Okay, that's great. So last question here, and I think you've kind of partially already answered it in that last response. You just used the term enterprise CPaaS, but the last question here has to do with CPaaS. like I said, when you were first acquired, Cisco was using the term digital channels to describe IMIMobile. That's easy. We get digital channels.
Yeah.
When you start using the term CPaaS,
Yeah.
we get a little confused. There's a lot of different companies out there that consider themselves CPaaS providers,
Yeah.
and they mean different things. And so when you're going to start using that word, and I saw you just, like I said, you just used the word enterprise CPaaS.
Yep.
What is, how do you advise customers to evaluate CPaaS when they go down this path?
Well, look, I mean, I think some of the evaluation that a few years ago would have differentiated people has kind of disappeared. So if you look at what I call the transport layer, like where basically I can get an API to get a phone number, do some SMS or 10-digit long codes, many countries, terminate, receive. That is the basic layer where you may get an API. Now we provide that. Lots of other people provide that. But that's if you want to code yourself and write an application yourself and use the API. And some organizations are geared up to do that. Some are not. And a lot of our clients want more than just an API. They want tools, low code tools to help them essentially low code, which is take out of the box integrations that we may have, put them into their integrate into their systems, create the business logic and orchestration they need to do to get payloads for communication, and then essentially use the channels to communicate. So we provide the transport layer plus a whole lot of software tools, low-code software tools on top. Plus, on top of that, we also provide integration out of the box into lots of other cloud solutions. And then we also, on top of that, provide now much more AI and automation tools for things like NLP and intent recognition. So it kind of slightly depends on what you're looking to achieve. If you're looking to achieve one use case and you've got a team of developers and you want to get going quickly, of course, there's a lot of solutions out there where you can get an API. We also have a sandbox, but I would suggest that most of these things are pretty much the same. If you're looking for a platform on which non-IT users may want to use it at some point, where you may want to consolidate lots of use cases, where you want to have more enterprise controls over it, you might then consider buying a piece of software on top of the APIs. And that's where our charging also reflects that. We basically also essentially charge on top of our APIs for our software layer.
Excellent. Okay, well, I got a lot of things I want to ask you about, but we'll save that for another conversation. I want to ask you a lot more about RCS. You just mentioned that. I want to ask you more about the digital-only contact center, which is lots of stuff. But we'll save that for another upcoming episode. Well, how's that? We'll right now.
RCS may come. You saw the Google I/O thing last week as well, so it's still there.
Still there. I think that's predictable. The question is, will it still be there in the same state in 10 years from now? But again, thank you so much for joining me on this. I think you've answered a lot of my questions. Hopefully some others that are viewing. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thanks very much, Dave. Okay, take care.